Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning into Zin's Workshop. I know it's been a while since I've done a review. I got really sick, not COVID sick, thank God, but I did get a really nasty cold from my son because, daycare kids share everything. So I got a really nasty cold. I'm still feeling not 100%, but I'm like 85% better. I still have a lingering cough. I'm still not sleeping all that great because of this cough. Um, really congested still, coughing up lots of mucus and phlegm. It's gross. But I'm back, I'm here, and we're going to go back into the swing of things with Afterlove, which I've been trying to review for like 2 weeks now. But, sick. Sorry. So before I begin with the review, I just want to show off this really pretty edition that I got from my Fairy Loot subscription box a couple months ago. If you look online, this book claims to be the lesbian love story you've been waiting for. Now, that's a pretty high claim to make. And it's smart marketing because you kind of want to read it just to be like, are you? Are you really the lesbian love story I've been waiting for? I love how the story kind of breaks up. I like how the way the story is written because you already know Ash is dead, not even death will tear them apart. You already know that Ash is dead or she dies in an accident. And the story begins with love. So, and it's really this one chapter segment, and it introduces Ash, it introduces who she is as a Reaper, it introduces what the story is going to be about. It's going to be about Ash as a Reaper and her love, the first love of her life. Trying to look for that last line of this. So, you're really getting to know Ash already as a character. After that, it goes to before. So, the before part is all Ash's life before the accident that unfortunately takes her life. It talks about her relationships with her family, her friends, how hard it is being a person of color, but also part of the LGBTQ community, how it's not 100% accepted within her culture, but her family is making that effort. Her mother is making that effort to show her support for her, and I think that that's really great. I will say this for her relationship with Poppy, their meet cute, didn't feel it, wasn't feeling it. It seemed really forced. It seemed like, oh, you have this cute white chick who is coming up to this girl in distress because Ash does have a really strong fear of, being on water. And she's telling her, well, it's cognitive dissonance, I believe. And it's interesting. It's kind of weird. You're just like, who starts a conversation that way? But for me personally, I just didn't feel the chemistry in that scene. I was just like, really? This is a relationship that's supposed to just wow me? I think it's just because I think Ash in that moment was a little stiff. It's not saying that I don't like Ash or Poppy as characters. I do. I just think that their initial meeting was really just kind of, it didn't feel natural. It didn't feel like this natural moment that was supposed to come up and really strike a chord with us as readers, be like, oh, it's so cute. For me, it didn't do it. It wasn't doing it. That's unfortunate. However, I'll say this. I do like the progression of their relationship. I like their friendship, and I like how Poppy doesn't kind of play games. One of the first questions she asked, she's like, "Are you out?" Because I'm out. Like, I'm not in the closet. And you kind of see why that's really important to Poppy, because for Ash, she's kind of been like the girl that other girls experiment with, and it's hurt her a lot. So you understand why Poppy's asking that question, and you understand why her asking that question is important for Ash as a character for their relationship, because it's like she's tired of being that girl who gets her heart broken because she's just the experiment, and it's kind of shitty. To be ghosted by girls who you think are interested in you, but who turn out not to really be interested in you because either they're afraid of the stigma, or they're not ready to be out of the closet, or maybe they're still unsure of their sexuality and they were just experimenting. So it's important. It's a really powerful moment for these two characters to connect, and I'm like, there we go. Now I'm invested. Now I'm invested in these two characters and their relationship. Ultimately, I did think, it really was a wonderful relationship to unfold. For that whole before. It seems like it happens really fast, but months are actually passing by, and I do like how Byrne is able to really condense this passage of time and really allow the reader to become invested in these characters and then the relationship that they form. Then you have the after. Her accident happens, she dies, she becomes a Reaper. And it's tough. It is very tough for her. Especially because the only people who can see Reapers are people who are about to die. And when Poppy recognizes her, it's just like, well, shit. And then you as the reader, you're like, what is happening now? What's going to happen? Poppy can't die. And then you're like, no, but if Poppy dies, maybe she'll get to be happy ever after with Ash in the afterlife. But you're like, no, because when Poppy dies, she has to go off to find her afterlife, board the Sharon's boat and embark on her next journey. And you're just like, no. So you really do become invested in these two characters who are trying to live as much as possible and love each other as much as possible in this unknown span of time that they have. So is it the love story that I was waiting for? No, not for me. Sorry, didn't live up to the claim, but it was still a really good LGBTQ love story, because it does show us that love does transcend death. And the focus of the love between these two characters was really well developed. I thought it was so well written. I love the development. I love how I went from feeling not sure to become 100% invested in who these characters were going to become by the end of it in their relationship. So I became invested, and that's good. So, I have to give this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. It didn't wow me, it didn't blow me out of the water, but I did love the characterization. I will say this, for a lot of the character dynamics, they do all start off a bit stiff, and then the chemistry flows. It's like Byrne wasn't completely sure how to start off these characters' relationships, like these familial ones and these friendship ones. It's like she wasn't sure. And I think it showed in the writing, because for me, it felt really stiff. I was just like, okay, so you've got the girl with the attitude. They kind of felt like a little tropey as far as the characters went. Like she was trying to create these like tropey characters. You've got the bad girl, you've got the nice sweet one, you've got Ash, she's kind of just like in the middle, and they're like the three friends, and you're just like, a little tropey. But ultimately it worked out because you become invested in the friendships. You start to believe them. The chemistry does develop. That is a fact. So, 3.5 out of 5 stars. So if you want to go ahead and purchase the book, please remember to purchase from your local bookseller or online book retailer. All I ask is that you support your local independently owned bookstores or Barnes & Noble or Books A Million versus purchasing the book off of Amazon. The books might be cheaper on Amazon, but that's because the publisher sells them to that at that rate. I mean, publishers force us, booksellers, to sell the books at list price. That's the agreement that they have. They strike a different agreement with Amazon because they're just putting the books in warehouses. So, there's no overhead that Amazon has to pay for staff and electricity and leasing places. It's different. It's a whole different thing, and you also have to remember they are undercutting the authors, because remember, authors tend to only get like 10, maybe 20% of the proceeds, and if the book is selling at a cheaper price, the publisher still needs to get their cut, the agent still needs to get their cut, and then what's left, it just kind of trickles back to the author. So it's like chump change at that point. So support your booksellers, because that's a great way to support the author. You can't purchase the book if money is really, really tight. Trust me, I get it. Check out the book from your local library. Get an ebook off of Script. Get an ebook from your local library. Get an audiobook from your local library, and just leave a review and spread the news. That's also another great way for you to support the author. I mean, it's great. Me doing this helps support the author. And on that note, I hope you all will continue to support me here by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me a Coffee, making a one-time donation to PayPal, or by purchasing one of my handmade candles. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.